Okay, so if y'all didn't see the video last week, we was basically talking about how we feel about what's gonna happen with Miles, all that bullshit, right? If you didn't see it, go fucking watch it, okay? But while we were recording that video, we kind of did get off topic and we started talking about MCU Peter. So it basically became a whole nother topic. Also, I'm Time Pizza on my nigga Greed's channel.
Nah, bro, you good. Keep going.
This video is basically a two-parter, and so I wouldn't even say it's a continuation of the last video. It's a whole different topic. So if we come in just straight in the conversation, that's why. And yeah, we out here. We basically talking about MCU Peter and shit now.
Shit, he did it for me. Yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and let the intro play. And yeah, we're gonna hop right back in conversation.
Cause, you know, I can see Miles getting put on Avengers teams, like, without niggas being like, he's just a kid, you know, like how they was fucking with
Peter. Yeah, I could see them doing. See, I always felt like that was kind of weird they did that to Peter. Honestly, I think it's better when they do it to Miles. Not to sound like bogus or nothing, but I don't know. Miles is just more of like that kid nowadays. You know, he's the kid Spider-Man that everybody thinks about.
I can see why you thought that, right? But like, I finally put it in perspective. Because like, when I was looking at the MCU, right, I was looking at how old all these niggas were. If you look at all the Avengers in the MCU, them niggas are all late, mid-30s to like early 50s type shit, right?
Right.
And so their whole thing is like being a superhero is an adult's game, all right?
And
then when you go look at Spider-Man MCU's age, that nigga's fucking 17. He's my age, like trying to hang with these grown niggas. So I can see why, like, you know how like when you were growing up and you try to go into the room with adults, they'll be like, nah, this is grown folks. Stay, yeah, type shit. That's what they were pushing on Peter. Them seeing like how it worked out with Peter being like a young nigga with powers and shit coming up. They're like, oh, we can work with some young niggas. That's why more like younger superheroes started to make the come up.
Right. So yeah, like, you could definitely say Peter set the way. Anybody that was like under him or young just like him followed up right behind him. You know what I'm saying?
Like, the only reason Peter don't even fuck with the Avengers like that, because they was like, hey, you too young, sit your ass down somewhere. He's like, fuck y'all, I'm gonna be a hero anyways.
He wasn't feeling that. And I think with that though, it's like, I think when it comes to Miles in a way though, I think it's because the simple fact because we only see Miles in like a teenage or kid fashion most of the time, versus like Peter, like we're starting to see him, like the Tom Holland movies are the only movies when we really saw a childish Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? Like a kid one. Yeah, I mean, a teen one.
Live action form.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, that's the exact reason why I fuck with the live actions. Like, I know a lot of niggas do not fuck with live action. The way I'm watching it and viewing it, like, I guarantee you in the next 2 Spider-Man movies, that nigga Peter's gonna be a whole different. Niggas gonna fuck with Peter heavy. In the next movie, he's gonna develop even more after being betrayed and having his identity leak, blah blah. It's like he's an actual human growing up, right? And that's the reason I fuck with MCU Peter so much, because I get to see that development in like real time. Like, I don't have to go from one movie, him being in high school, him acting more like a kid, to next movie he's more serious and shit, out of nowhere. That's why I prefer MCU Peter over anything. Yeah, like, notice he didn't start taking shit seriously until after them rocks fell on that nigga. And he was like, I'm gonna be Spider-Man. I'm Spider-Man.
I want to say like the previous live action ones, like the previous live action Peters, like they obviously Toby and Andrew. I think Toby was like a more serious Spider-Man. His whole Spider-Man universe was just serious as shit. His movies were serious. He always had serious scenes too. You know, you had scenes that would lighten the mood, but just because of the aesthetic and how how it was, bro, it always carried a serious tone. With all 3 movies, all 3 Tobey Maguire films carried a serious tone. Andrew is kind of the same thing, but slightly different.
I'm not gonna lie, like, at certain points they would try to lighten the mood, and
they would try, but they always give him these super serious ass scenes, bro. Honestly, and I think I personally prefer that. Like, I like seeing, like, you know, them super dire serious scenes to where like motherfuckers gotta save somebody, or this person's about to die. Like, I feel like in those movies, it was always somebody about to die, and I fucked with it, cause it put that nigga Peter on edge. He didn't know what to do half the time. He was stressed. he had to figure himself out, figure shit out. He ain't never got his identity revealed or nothing. Actually, nah, them niggas knew who he was. They just wasn't on that big exposing shit like how folks was in this movie. I just think how serious the Sony movies get. I think that's what I like about them. I ain't gonna lie. I like how serious they can get. Cause I feel like we get way too many of those. Like, if I'm being honest.
When you overly do it, that's when it starts to get a little bit like, okay, chill out a little bit. Like, come on, like, take this shit serious.
A lot of the scenes in like in the MCU movies, they're cold as hell. Tom Holland had some cold ass scenes.
When he fucked up the nigga with the Spidey sense, all them robots and shit.
Yeah, that was cold. What made it garbage though, he called that shit a Spidey tingle. A Peter tingle, bro. Like, come on now.
Until the very end.
Right, like
I thought he was gonna change that shit to Spidey sense, like.
Right, like that would have been cool, but like, you see what I'm saying? Like, they'll give you a cool ass moment like that and then make it kind of bogus with something like that. Like, they couldn't just keep it cool, bro. They had to add that in there, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, y'all ruined it. Like, whoa, you did not have to do that.
And in this next movie, he's gonna be on edge type shit constant. So you're gonna definitely get that Sony fear that you've been wanting from these movies for a hot minute. They were all like saying their biggest fears right before they died, and then he was like, Peter, I've always loved your aunt.
Right, bro, like,
what the fuck was that? Like, what are you talking about, my nigga?
It's so Disney, folks. It's so Disney. Third movie, I got high hopes that it is gonna give me what I want.
He the type of nigga that would kill Aunt May.
Yeah.
To provoke that nigga, he's like, I want to see the Spider-Man.
Nah, for real. He would do that. He would kidnap or kill somebody. He's definitely that nigga to do that.
Like, why? He's like, fuck you, that's why, nigga. You a bitch.
And seeing like how the villain kind of Craven is, I think this is gonna make this even more cold, cause Peter's gonna have to rely on like his hand-to-hand combat. Mm-hmm. His gadgets and all that shit is not gonna work on Craven. That shit do not work on him.
I think some cool shit is like, imagine they fuck up the whole apartment. They blow that shit up while, I don't know, Aunt May or may not be home, right?
Right.
And that nigga has to bust in there to grab the formula for the webs, and he barely gets that shit. It's barely burnt.
Man, this movie better be it, bro. This movie better be it. It gotta be it, bro. But yeah, y'all, as far as MCU Spider-Man goes, that's what we're expecting of him. That's what what we think is possibly gonna happen in the next movie. Shit, what we want to see. We're both big ass Spider-Man fans, and we're both excited to see like what the MCU could possibly do with him. I mean, honestly, from what I think that like they progressively have been getting better with him. I will admit that Homecoming, I ain't really like him, I'm gonna be honest. Far From Home, he kind of went up. He went up.
He on his way.
He on his way. And then the third one, that's the one that's the one that I'm hoping they get him. They gonna have him. Mm-hmm. But before I cut this out, Tyne, is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, basically, y'all should like, comment, and subscribe, because we probably gonna do more right? And November 21st, I'm gonna fly out to Chicago. Wait.
Wait, what?
And I'm gonna pull up on that nigga. We gonna watch Spider-Man.
Alright, y'all, but yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm out this bitch. And yeah, I guess.
You know that the numbers go like 1, 2, greed. Thank you for being a GreedHD, nigga.
Hey, bro, low-key, you can cut this out, right? But like, you can split this video into 2 parts.
I did, that's good.
And then the next part, you gonna upload that next Wednesday, and that's gonna be the us talking about the MCU.